If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Al Roker has been beaming into living rooms of Americans since 1974.
Everybody did a little bit of everything.
Bringing us weather forecasts in a way that makes even the most disgusting days seem a little more sunny.
I love my life, yes!
His ability to carry an infectious optimism and upbeat attitude is a rare quality. Maybe you can pull it off once in a while, but Al is on TV every day.
Everything's going my way.
I thought there must be some secret to staying positive all the time, especially in the workplace where personalities clash and egos often create tension.
No.
This is how Al Roker shows up to work. Al, you have been at the Today Show for 27 years. That is, in business today, you don't get those kind of runs at companies very often. And I wonder if there's something that you feel like you have learned or something that has made you feel like this is the place that you want to make your home for so long.
Well, and I mean this sincerely, I tend to keep my head down, and just do the work. And I think you let your work speak for yourself. There's the whole thing, people playing the office politics and all that. And I don't want to get involved in that. I do my job. I come home to my family and that's pretty much it. And you work hard. And by the way, I'm not one of the, the main anchor people. I'm happy doing what I'm doing and being supportive in any way I can to the folks I work with. And that's been part of the gig, and being the second banana.
It's easy to get caught up in the idea that being in charge is everything. So much of people's egos and aspirations are tied up in being the top banana, the person at the top of the food chain. But what Al learned from his longtime mentor, Willard Scott,
Here he is, Willard Scott!
is that being the second banana has its benefits. You can build a wide-ranging career without being the person in charge. And Al says it leads to a lot less pressure. We'll talk more about that idea of the second banana. Was there a time where you were like, I have to be the main person?
First of all, I didn't intend to be on TV. I wasn't going to be on television. I wanted to work in television. I wanted to be a writer, a producer. And it was a department chairman in Oswego, New York, who actually said to me after my first television performance class, Roker, you have the perfect face for radio. But he's the guy who put me up for my first television job doing weekend weather at a station he worked at in Syracuse. Getting the weather gig really wasn't something I was planning on. I didn't want to be the anchor man. I was just happy being the, quote, weather guy.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the keys is knowing what it is that you like to do and trying to be the best at that versus trying to be the number one person in your particular workplace. You want to be number one at the top of your field or loving what you're doing at the top of your field versus being number one on TV. Is that a fair way to think about it?
Yeah, I would say so. I think, you need to be comfortable in who you are. And then I think other things follow.
You've talked about the idea of being able to deal with different personality types as your secret weapon. Can you talk a little bit about what that means and how to think about that in the kind of broader work scale?
One of my all-time favorite shows, Dan, is the A-Team. In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Just a quick pause here. Wow.
And the point is, there was a specialist for everything on the team. And I think everybody in a workplace, nobody is all things to all people. You need to find within your workspace your A-team. They're going to be people that you don't necessarily get along well with, as long as they're not trying to get ahead over your dead body. I think you do your best to work with them. That's the secret to the Today Show. I think we all realize that if one of us looks good, we all look good. I don't care who you are in the organization. I think you treat everybody with equal respect.
Al serves a number of roles at the Today Show, always leveraging the cheerful and playful demeanor that millions of Americans have become accustomed to. But behind the scenes, the 68-year-old has faced numerous challenging moments. The loss of his father to cancer and his own medical issues, including prostate cancer and gastric bypass surgery. And when I sat down with him for this interview, he had just returned to work after a complex total knee replacement. When you come on screen, you have this sort of optimism and cheerfulness that extends through the camera to the people watching. I am sure, I would assume that there are days where you don't feel that. Is there a secret to being able to show that sunniness or to make sure that other people feel it or to present that warmth?
Listen, there are times where, I remember times when my parents were ill and, they were not doing well. And, you have to come in and do your job. And it's tough, but everybody's going through something at the end of the day. And I think one of the things I do, not to get too zen or whatever, I journal before I go to work. And I kind of put it down, put it out there, kind of get rid of it, and then move on. There are days where it's, I just don't feel great. But nobody pays to see the grumpy weather guy, It's, and I've told this before. My daughter, Leela, who's now almost 25, but she was 11 or 12 years old. And everybody who says girls are neater than boys, they're not telling the truth. Leela's room was a mess for like a week, and I'd been after her. And finally, this one Saturday, I snapped and I just yelled at her. And all of a sudden, she burst into tears and she goes, "This isn't fair. America only sees the happy Al Roker. They never see this Al Roker." I just started laughing. I couldn't keep it up.
Maybe we'd have a country full of much cleaner rooms if you started doing that on air. When people are coming up, they say like, "Oh, I want to be, I want to be the next Al Roker, or I want to be on TV." What kind of career advice do you give?
It's funny that you use that phrase, the next Al Roker. People, I want to be the next Oprah Winfrey. No, we already got one of those. Whoever it is, you've got to be the best you. Yes, you can take inspiration from people, but if you're not yourself, it's just people are going to see through that. And I know that's easier said than done. You got to be in it for the long game. I'm not the me now that I was even 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And the other thing is, don't get complacent. People ask me, I bet you don't, or say to me, "You don't get nervous when you go on TV." I say, I'm nervous every day. I'm nervous doing this. I'm certainly nervous every morning before the Today Show because I want to do a good job. If you are not nervous, then that means you've stayed in whatever you're doing too long.
You're nervous every day before you go on TV?
Every day. Dan, as God is my witness, I am always nervous. Embrace that. That means you still want to do your best.
Here's what jumped out at me. I think that Al just revealed the secret to his positivity, and that he's always learning. The fact that Al still gets nervous before going on TV, something he's been doing for nearly 50 years, is a sign of someone who never believes he has it all figured out. What would happen if we all stopped chasing that mythical top rung of the ladder? If we believed tomorrow is another day to improve? I think that might be enough for us to clear away some of the clouds over our own careers.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
So tell me, how do you try to grow at work? Let me know in the comments, and you can dive deeper into this topic on the This Is Working podcast. Listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe to the This Is Working newsletter using the link you see on the screen.